Hello, and today is the last day in our elimination phase before we move into the second phase tomorrow, which I'll keep as a surprise for you. So, we have been talking about how we can actually improve and strengthen our skin's barrier. And the final thing that I want you to consider is the effect of moisturizers on your skin. So, I'm going to give you some technical information on why moisturizers work in some ways and how they don't work in others, and the whole mystery surrounding when we talk about hydrators, what they really are. So our language is slightly different to the traditional cleanse, tone, moisturize. I believe that that rule is completely outdated and actually causes your skin more harm than good. A lot of my training was actually done originally with a fantastic doctor who's based in California, and he became a worldwide phenomenon and sold pots and pots and pots of cream and really changed a lot of people's faces. And back in the early days, a lot of these doctors that had discovered the benefits of skin health restoration were saying that moisturizers were actually causing more damage to the skin. And it took us a while to actually get our heads around what they really meant. And what they were actually able to identify was that your skin creates natural moisture factors. So these are things that actually retain water in your skin, because remember, your skin is 70% water. And when you actually apply a moisturizer on the surface, what happens is you switch off the natural moisture factor production. It's like sitting in a bathtub full of water. Your skin just gets a signal that there's moisture on the surface and it doesn't actually need to create its own moisture factors. So in addition to that, when people are using ingredients that strip away the barrier function, they end up in a situation where water also evaporates out of their skin more quickly. And this leads them to feeling tight. And as soon as they feel tight, they think, oh my God, I'm premature aging. And they run down to the high street and they buy a pot of moisturizer. Now, moisturizers can temporarily improve hydration. They might attract moisture from the surface in terms of the atmosphere, or they might draw more water from the deeper layers of the skin to the surface, and that temporarily will plump and hydrate the skin. But eventually that water evaporates out and you're left with actually an even drier skin. So it's a vicious cycle that starts where people then have to increase the intensity of their moisture product, and they become even more dependent on buying moisturizers. Now, I'm actually here to say that that vicious cycle is something that isn't going to help your skin age well. In order to have well hydrated skin, you need to actually repair the barrier of your skin. And when I look at the effect of using a moisturizer that has a humectant in it, or something that is an emulsifier, something that sort of like adds moisture to the skin, the reason why I'm not a fan is because it actually interferes with the renewal process in your skin. It confuses your skin and it makes it lazy. It stops creating its own moisture factors. So today I'm going to start with a little bit of a controversial topic, because I know that the BBC recently made a TV show about the ineffectiveness of moisturizers, and I'm quite surprised by that, because it's not really in the public domain. So I'm going to bring it to your attention because I would like you to consider looking at alternatives, things that are better types of hydrators that don't interfere and actually allow your skin to sort of hydrate and be well hydrated without stopping it creating its own moisture factors or allowing more exfoliation to occur on the surface. So there are lots of ingredients that we're going to be looking more closely at in the next, in the second phase, in the second week. But for now, just consider that if you are stuck in a rut and if you are using a moisturizer daily, then I wonder, if you were to stop using your moisturizer for 2 weeks, whether your skin would actually start hydrating itself. And it's a bit like that myth around people who stop washing their hair, whether their hair actually self cleans. And I can actually tell you that it's quite surprising to me, some of the feedback that I get from people who were real moisture addicts before, and they couldn't even leave the house because their skin felt so tight and uncomfortable when they washed their face in the morning, that if they didn't have a moisturizer on, they felt like they couldn't move or even talk. That actually, after a few weeks of switching to alternatives, they no longer rely on their moisturizer. Their moisture addiction is finished. So the one thing that I'm going to leave with you on this final day of this first week challenge is to think about giving up your moisturizer. And tomorrow I'll be giving you some better alternatives that you can consider, in addition to obviously drinking plenty of water, avoiding coffee and all the things that dehydrate your skin like alcohol. But we can just start topically. I'm not going to raid your kitchen just yet, and really consider what are the better alternatives to our moisturizers. I look forward to seeing you again